his 4 years in the National Football League, he's made the Pro Bowl 3 times, the former Defensive Rookie of the Year, one of the best pass rushers in the National Football League, here in person in the Rich Eisen Show studio. Pleased to have you, Von Miller. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good to see you. This is the radio and television segment. For the TV audience, I just had to discipline Law and Del Tufo to find out what happened, and you sat here for it. And
yeah.
how would you say, because you've been around a lot of disciplinarians, you've been around coaches, you've been around people who need to put the hammer down. How did I handle that?
I think you did pretty good. I think you did pretty good. You know, you don't want to be too stern and be too rough. You know, it's still all about the team here.
Right.
You know, you did pretty good.
Thank you. I mean, because what does, in your mind, a player respond to best? A coach that's in your face, that's a sort of a yeller in a way? Or the guy that on the sideline you can't tell if you're winning or losing?
I mean, it just depends on the player. It just depends on the player. And the coaches, they do a great job of knowing how the players react to, you know, whatever style of coaching that they're going to give them.
So what about you? Which do you respond to
with
best?
me, I respond to whatever it is that the coach is going to say. So it really don't matter if he's yelling or screaming. I really don't get too much yelling and screaming, though. I try to stay on top of my work and get my job done.
Okay, so you're saying you're good enough to not be screamed at. Is that essentially what you're saying, right?
I mean, I still make mistakes, but, you know, I think coaches, they get frustrated when you just keep making the same mistakes. So whenever I make a mistake, I always try to not make that same mistake again.
You've got a new coach in your ranks right now with Gary Kubiak. How are things with the new coach, and how are they different from the previous administration?
Oh, it's great. Having Coach Koob and all the guys is great. Bill Kohler, our defensive line coach, he's great. I think our defensive line is going to be able to respond well to his coaching. Coach Pudge is my coach. Me and DeMarcus, we got a great coach. We got a great coaching staff. Coach Phillips is going to mix some things up over there on defense. He's got a lot of toys to play with over there, and I think our secondary is one of the best secondaries in the league. So, you know, he'll definitely be able to have fun with that, too.
So Coach Wade Phillips is in this mix right now. He used to be the head coach there. He knows the area very well. And he can coordinate a defense, there's no doubt about that. How is your role in this defense going to be?
I'm rushing the passer.
That's it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing a lot of stuff.
I mean, we've seen Clay Matthews sit there in the middle of the defense out of nowhere. I mean, is there any wrinkle whatsoever that's coming?
I'll be doing a little bit of, you know, a lot of stuff. But when it's time to go, when it's go time, I'll be rushing the passer just like always.
How has DeMarcus Ware been as a teammate and helping you?
Oh, he's been great. He's been awesome. Not just with me, but everybody in the locker room, all the young guys. You know, you get to play with a legend. You know, it's not too often where you get to play with, like, your childhood hero. And for all the defensive linemen in there and all the pass rushers that we got in our locker room, you know, DeMarcus is that guy for us. So, you know, having him on our team has been great.
And Shane Ray, now in the mix right here. I'm with Von Miller here on the Rich Eisen Show. We know what happened with him draft week, where he got popped in his hometown with Pot sitting there in the car, and so he comes in with a strike. What have you told Shane Ray about coming and being a professional in the National Football League?
I met Shane back in, I want to say I met him back in March. And, you know, I was talking to him, and I was telling him about, like, what to expect from, like, locker rooms and, you know, how the vets are going to treat you when you get in. I'm telling him how we do the rookies. I wasn't expecting him to come all the way down to the Broncos. So when he got there, he already had, like, a vision of like, how we do things there. So he has a pretty good grasp on things and what we do. And he got me and DeMarcus in there, and if he could just learn a little bit from either one of us, he'd be great.
And how is Peyton Manning? What's going on with Peyton Manning?
Peyton Manning. He's still great. He's still been the same Peyton Manning since he's been there with the Denver Broncos. I don't have not a worry in the world about Peyton. I feel like he'll be able to get the job.
So, I mean, sure. But, I mean, you take a look at his career and where he's been and done that, and how he's been able to keep this at such a high level his entire career. What's it like just seeing him out on the practice field going about his business, Vaughn?
I think it's just you get the same type vibe that you get from having DeMarcus, you know, around. We got a living legend in there. He's great. You know, he's Peyton Manning every single day. He's consistent every single day. It's not a day where he comes in and he's like, you know, I don't feel like doing this, or I don't feel like talking to these guys. He's the same Peyton Manning every single day, and, you know, you get to watch greatness, you know, every single day, get to witness it. And
it does appear that Tom Brady will be active when you do get to see him this year. What do you think of Deflategate and the 4-game suspension that's been handed down to Tom Brady based on what you've heard and seen?
I don't know. I really don't have. I really don't have a comment on it. I really don't know.
So I mean, it's about air in a football.
Yeah.
Is the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I think when you take the air out of the ball, it makes it a little bit, softer. It makes it a little bit easier to catch too.
Mm-hmm.
And but I don't know. I didn't get to touch the ball.
Well, I mean, if you're lucky to get a scoop and score or something like that.
I still don't realize. I still don't think it'll make just a huge difference. I don't know.
Do you ever want to do what JJ Watt's doing? Get out there on offense? Have you said anything to?
I've been
Kubiak?
lobbying since like college, so
How does the lobbying go? What are you saying?
I try to tell them all the time. I used to do this, I used to do that, but we got a great coaching staff over there. We got great tight ends.
Yeah, but what's your game? It's not like you're getting in saying that
ball,
somebody else can't get the job done, Vaughn.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I could say, but they just got to get me the ball. Well, I play defense though. I'm not really worried about it.
So what would be your best route? Fade? Are you a fade
Put me in the
route?
slot.
Okay.
Put me in the slot. Mm-hmm. Short yard situations. Mm-hmm. And just let me work the middle linebacker, outside linebacker. I feel like if I go against outside linebacker and he covering me, I'm gonna beat him. They just gotta.
Because you know what you know how it works.
Yeah, you gotta give me the ball.
So Peyton, Omaha. You tell him this. Omaha means put Vaughn in the game.
They gonna do what they gotta do over there. Maybe we'll be up by 21 or something. Then let me get in there.
I think you're a difference maker though, Vaughn. That's what I'm saying. Can I do this for you? I'm gonna address the camera for the radio audience right now. This is my camera right here. Von Miller needs to catch the football. Because by the way, we have a comedian coming up next hour, Nick Thune, who said he wanted to throw out a first pitch, and it happened. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm gonna try and make this happen for you, Coobs, if I'm allowed. Coach Kubiak, Von Miller wants to catch the football here. It's not anything that Emmanuel Sanders can't do, obviously, and Demaryius Thomas can't do, and we understand that you've got a deep roster of talented receivers, certainly even out of the backfield. But Von's a difference maker. Mm-hmm. Let Von do his thing on the other side of the rock, and good things will happen. How was that?
That was great. Maybe you hear it.
You could say, I'm Von Miller and I approve this message.
I am Von Miller and I definitely approve of this message.
We are back with your phone calls for Von Miller. We're going to take some 844-204-RICH. There are some other matters at hand to discuss with you. That's going on on the blogs. Talking about
I seen that.
Okay, you seen that? We'll get back to that in just 60 ticks of the clock. Your phone calls with Von Miller here on The Rich Eisen Show. Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. A three-time Pro Bowler, Von Miller, here in the Rich Eisen Show studio. Did you hear the comments of Coach Jack Del Rio?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Jack Del Rio said that Khalil Mack is way more physical than Von Miller. How do you respond to that, Von?
I mean, I was there with Jack, and for 3 years, so I know where he's coming from. That's just Jack.
Where's he coming from?
I mean, I practice with him. He's my defensive coach, so for 3 years, So, he know what type of player I am. He know what I could do. Khalil's great though. I've seen Khalil play. He's gonna be great for a long time. I'm expecting a lot of him, just like he's expecting a lot of himself this year. I'm seeing double-digit sacks. He should have had so many more sacks last year. It's just he couldn't close it off a little bit. But I really do feel like he's gonna be a force to reckon with this year.
I have a feeling. I'm just trying to read in between the lines here, Von, because you're trying to go highbrow. You're trying to take the high road here. That Derek Carr has been put in harm's way by his head coach. Is that what's just happened here?
I mean, I definitely feel like I try to get to every quarterback. It's not just Derek Carr. I'm not the type of guy.
This road is so high. I mean, we're like a mile high right now. That's how high this road is.
I mean, I'm
right
not just going that's just not me. I was there with Jack. Me and Jack were together for 3 years, so I know what type of coach he is. I know what type of guy he is.
All right, so if I can be part of the paparazzi here and stir it up like I'm a first taker, Von Miller is saying Jack Del Rio is soft. That's what he just said.
That's what I heard. I heard that too.
He goes, I know
like
Coach. Coach knows me, and I know Coach for 3 years, and Jack Del Rio is soft.
Oh, man.
So that's a no. That's not what you meant.
Did we cut that up with I'm Von Miller and I approve this message in the last segment?
Be careful, we have editing equipment here.
I mean, I know Jack. He's a great coach. I don't know He's not coaching me no more. But
He's not.
He used to do stuff like that to get guys going. I'm already going though. So.
You're already going.
I'm already
Maybe
going.
he's just trying to talk Khalil Mack up, who really doesn't need that though. But he's just talking about his guys. He's all fired.
Yeah, that's
up.
what you're supposed to do though. You're supposed to talk about your guys.
Yeah.
Khalil's gonna be great this year.
Or maybe he's full of hot air.
No, I definitely think Khalil, he's gonna be great this year.
Actually, that was a segue for me to get into this conversation about the blocks. What's going on in the blocks right now, Vaughn? So I don't know how to put. Look, because this is a high road, high class program, a high common denominator program. But everybody's talking about this fine system that's going on in Denver right now, based on certain members of the Denver roster cutting loose, and the old rule when I was in school is whoever smelt it, dealt it. What is this all about, Vaughn?
We in our locker room, in our meeting rooms, we spend a lot of time with each other.
We do.
And nobody wants to smell like farts every day. No. I understand that, but what's going on in our locker room is my teammates have imposed a fine on me for every time I fart is $500, which is okay.
$500.
Which is okay.
Wow.
Which is okay. It's been 3 years where I've been doing this, and I understand. Something's got to change. DeMarcus, he approved of it, and all these guys signed off on it, and I'm okay with that.
How many guys have signed off on
the
this?
whole meeting room? I mean, I understand that because it's not just me. It's not just me. I'm just frequently doing it. But everybody, if it's not just gonna be me, it's everybody in the meeting room.
We're all human beings on planet Earth, Vaughn. I mean, this is the largest glass house anywhere right now.
Yeah, especially you got.
But to what do we owe this ventilation issue?
I think it's just my diet. I've been on like all organic, healthy stuff, and my body just processes it faster than all the other stuff that people put in their body.
So it's a metabolistic situation.
Yeah, it's just healthy food.
But has there been any thought of what's the word? Clinching? Is there any thought of that?
No, that's just not healthy. It's just not. That's really a distraction. Like I'm trying to focus on film, and I'm doing.
Yeah, but you could say it's a distraction for others based on what you do. That's why it's getting expensive.
Yeah, that's why we had a fine.
So will this, last question on this, will this monetary penalty be in any way, shape, or form constricting what has happened at all? Or it's just you think it's worth the cash?
I'm thinking about it more.
Okay.
I'm not just like, but all the money is going to, the players in there. We have like a big pizza party at the end of the year, so. Well,
that's a problem too because that might be creating some gaseous.
Yeah, at the end of the year.
Just stay away from the pepperoni.
I just be funding the party at the end of the year.
So just let loose and buy a pizza for everybody. Oh my gosh, that's the longest I ever thought I'd have a conversation on this subject. Jack in Colorado, you were on the Rich Eisen show with Von Miller. Jack?
What's up, Vaughn?
This is not Del Rio, is it?
No.
Okay, good. Go for it.
I got a question for you, Vaughn.
How's it going?
So first of all, what is it like to be in the locker room with a great like DeMarcus Ware, and what are you as a great trying to learn from him?
For one, it's great, having DeMarcus in there. I grew up in Dallas, Texas, so, saw DeMarcus play with the Dallas Cowboys and, model my game after him and that whole thing. And having him in the locker room every single day, it's more than just football. We get to talk about life. We get to talk about. I get to see how he, really, interacts with his family and his, and all his cousins and everything. How he handles business off the field. So it's more than just football. Just being around him every day, and he's a great pass rusher. And I've learned so many things about him and the way he plays just from pass rushing, but off the field it's been great too. Having him right next to me. We sit right next to each other in the locker room and right next to each other in meeting rooms.
You wanted the Cowboys to draft you, right?
Yeah.
Because you're from the area and Texas A&M, obviously, and you were hoping that was going to happen.
Yeah, I was hoping I was going to get drafted by the Cowboys and be able to play with DeMarcus. And
did they speak to you at all? Did the Jones family reach out to you in the draft process, or they just?
No, they didn't. I was the guy at the combine trying to put extra meetings on on my schedule so I can meet with the Cowboys. But it just never happened, and it's crazy now because DeMarcus is playing with us now.
There you go.
Yeah.
Things are meant to happen for a reason. And here's one of the things I like about the Broncos fan base. We're not just talking about Colorado. We're talking about the Dakotas. There's a lot of people who come from Nebraska and Kansas. And then the great state of Idaho, in many ways, shapes, or formed. You know, obviously the western part of the state might be a lot of Seahawks fans, but there's a lot of Broncos fans in Idaho. And we'll go to Mike in Idaho Falls right now here on the Rich Eisen Show. Mike?
Hey, Rich, this is Mike. What's up?
You're on with Von Miller.
Hey, Vaughn. Hey, my first question was how they were going to use you, DeMarcus, and Shane, but Rich already talked about that a little bit. So my next question is, I just started a career as a high school football coach, and what's some advice you would give to the kids? I'm coaching linebackers and the assistant defensive coordinator. So if you could go back to high school, what would be your advice to some kids?
Back in the advice that I got back in high school was just to keep playing. You know, everybody's growing and changing. I played middle linebacker, defensive end, played a little strong safety. I played a little bit of everything in high school, and our coach just really did a good job of putting all our best talent on the field and getting them to play. So I would just tell them to keep playing and just to take it one day at a time because your body's changing. You know, the way you play football changes every day from your freshman year to your senior year. It's going to be a totally different you that's playing out there. So I just tell them just to keep playing.
While we're on the subject of children, tell me about Von's Vision Foundation, what you're doing in Denver with these kids.
Von's Vision is a foundation that I started about 3 years ago, and we give back glasses, contacts, free eye exams to kids in need in different areas.
That's a great problem. My oldest wears glasses. You know, we noticed when he was about 3 that his left eye was turning in, and so many kids need this.
Yeah.
And then there are so many kids that don't want to wear them.
And there's so many kids that need glasses and don't even know they need them. So that's where the eye exams come into play. But you know, whenever I can, glasses hasn't always been cool. Wearing glasses haven't always been cool. So if I can wear glasses and it makes a little kid want to wear his glasses that he needs, you know, I'm doing my job.
Is that part of the reason why you don't wear contacts and you put on the glasses?
Oh, yeah, I wear contacts in the game, but you know, I feel like glasses are way more comfortable than contacts, though. So.
Yeah, they're easy to just throw on your head. But I mean, for a kid though, there's a stigma, but it's also just keeping them on their behind their ears and on their head. So I encourage everybody to support this foundation. It's a neat idea. Von's Vision Foundation, founded in 2012, and on March 15th was your Vision Day. You and 55 volunteers provided eye screenings for over 170 underprivileged kids in Denver. That's some neat stuff right there. Before I let you go, I do have to ask you about Johnny Manziel. It's not like you own him, but I mean, you know, you're an Aggie, and do you speak to him at all?
Yeah,
do you have any contact with him?
Yeah.
Okay, and Tannehill's got a big deal right now?
Tannehill got the check, yeah.
He did get the check. So what do you think about Johnny's viability as a professional quarterback?
I think this year he'd be a whole lot better. You know, from what I've read in like the media and everything, they haven't, you know, they still believe in him, and you know, I feel like he's gonna come back. He's gonna be great. That's always been John. He's always been able to respond to adversity and be able to play at a high level. So I think he's taking it way more serious this year. Not like he didn't take it serious last year, but he's taking it way more serious this year, and he'll be great. I think it'll be able to show on the field. So
to recap our conversations here, you want the rock on offense.
Yep.
But you're not gonna. You've voiced it. I did my best to put it out there. You endorsed my message. You think Johnny Manziel's going to have a better year. You have a great foundation, Von's Vision Foundation. Is there a website for that?
Yeah, vonsvision.org.
Okay. You think Jack Del Rio is soft? Don't respond.
Yeah, I know Jack. Jack knows me.
And no amount of dollars to be taken out of your pocket is going to stop you from letting loose when you need to. No matter who's around you.
You know, the dollar, it's going to slow me down. It's just not
going to slow you down.
It's just not going to just totally
so
stop.
you're going to go 60 and a 55? you're going to stay within the.
Now instead of just 3 or 4 or 5 in every meeting, it'd probably be like 1 or 2.
But all it takes is one sometimes.
1 or 2 a week, you know, instead of every day.
Von Miller right here on the Rich Eisen Show, at MillerLite40 here on the program. Thanks for coming on, pal.
Yes, sir.
Good to see you. You bet. That's Von Miller.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.